Welcome students to this e-learning session. I am Devi S, Assistant Professor in English Language and Literature. Today we are going to discuss the essay Religion and Science, which is included in the text Glimpses of Literature for Semester 4 BA, BSc, BCom and career-related first degree programs under the University of Kerala. The language course is Readings and Literature. So, we move on to this essay, Religion and Science, written by Albert Einstein. Now, in this essay, Einstein makes a beautiful analysis of two aspects. One, the different stages of religious experience, and secondly, the relation of science to religion. Now, that's something that might baffle at least some of us, because we really don't consider science and religion as friends or concepts that agree with each other. We consider them as parallel concepts or poles apart. So here it's an eye-opener as far as we are concerned, as Einstein analyzes the relation of science to religion. Now, we've all heard of Albert Einstein. Born in 1879, he was a German-Swiss-American mathematical physicist, and he ranks with Galilei and Newton as one of the greatest conceptualists of man's understanding of the universe. He won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921, and he has published more than 300 scientific papers, and his works include About Zionism, which was published in 1930, Why War, which was published in 1933 along with Sigmund Freud. Now, Einstein asks or discusses what are the reasons behind the actions of human race. Now, that's a question to be pondered. All of us wonder what leads to our actions. Now I quote the text: "Everything that the human race has done and thought is concerned with the satisfaction of two aspects. One, deeply felt needs, and secondly, assuagement of pain." Now, what do you understand by deeply felt needs? We have the basic needs: food, shelter, clothing. And secondly, it's the assuagement. Assuagement means reduction, to reduce. Assuagement of pain means to reduce our pain, reduce the pain of human beings. It could be physical pain, it could be emotional pain. So every action of a human being is for these two reasons. One is deeply felt needs, and second is assuagement of pain. And he starts the essay by telling us about primitive man. What are the feelings and needs that have led primitive man to think about religious thoughts or religious experience? So Einstein goes on to tell us that the main reason why primitive man ever thought about religious experience is fear. It could be the fear of hunger, the fear of wild beast, the fear of sickness and death, because he could not understand the reason behind these happenings. He did not know why he was feeling hungry. He did not know what was causing all these illnesses. So that causal connection was very, very undeveloped. And so man was scared. And in order to overcome his fear, what did he do? He tried to secure the favor of these spirits or beings. And how did he do that? he started making he started creating illusory spirits or illusory beings which are more or less similar to these to those things that frightened him. Okay, so here Einstein is speaking of the religion of fear. Now he also says that it is this same religion of fear which later on went on to bring about a class division. For example, it led to the rise of priestly class and how the priestly class started controlling the others, erected a hegemony on this basis. So Einstein also makes a reference to that in this part of the essay. Now, the second aspect that Einstein says is that the reason why man started thinking of religious experience is social impulses. Now, what do you understand by social impulses? Now, as primitive man gradually developed, he had more time and he started socializing, and that made him understand that he wanted some authority which was infallible, which was beyond all errors, an infallible authority which would or who would guide him onto the path of righteousness. So here it is a desire of man for guidance, love, support. And here you have the God who rewards if you live a good life, who punishes if you tread on a wrong path. If you do some wrong things in life, you are punished. So that God Einstein calls the God of providence. And here Einstein also says this is the moral or social conception of God. And he says most of the scriptures that we know contains this concept of God. And he also makes a reference to the Jewish scriptures, and later on we have the New Testament, and all the other scriptures that we know has taken religion or religious experience from the concept of fear to that of a moral or social concept of God. Now, Einstein also says that common to both these types of religious experience or religious feeling or belief is the anthropomorphic character. What do you understand by anthropomorphic character? That is a human character, attributing human qualities to God. And he says there are very rarely you find people who are able to overcome or get out of this anthropomorphic conception of God. And then gradually he moves on to the third type of religious experience, which he calls the cosmic experience. He calls it the cosmic experience. Now, what do you understand by cosmic experience? Here Einstein says it is not anthropomorphic, that means there is no human character in the conception of God. And in this cosmic religious feeling, a human being feels the futility of desires. Okay, because his mind starts evolving, and so he feels the desires are the cause of misery. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be thinking of the Eightfold Path as taught by Sri Buddha. Exactly. And again, Einstein says there are no religious structures for this cosmic religious feeling. There is no need for any religious structure. And Einstein says you can find this cosmic religious feeling being mentioned in the Psalms of David, in Buddhism, and also he also speaks of Democritus, Francis of Assisi, and Spinoza. And he also goes on to say that at least some of these philosophers and religious people have been considered atheists because they did not believe in religious structures. Now Einstein proceeds or progresses by asking the next question. How can this cosmic religious feeling be communicated from one person to another? How do we understand this cosmic religious feeling? And Einstein says there are two ways, or there are two means by which we could do it. The first one being art. So when I say art, at least some of the art forms we know are related to religious experience. We have dance forms, we have musical forms, we have paintings, which all are related to religious experiences. So art, and secondly, Einstein says science. So here we arrive at the conception of the relation of science to religion. Now, Einstein goes on to tell us how this happens. Now we have two religions. Before the cosmic experience, we've had two religions. One is a religion of fear, and the second is a religion of providence. Now the religion of fear, as we become scientific, or as we understand science through observation and experiment, we understand that there is absolutely no need of fear, because the causal connection is extremely clear to us. We know why things happen. For example, whatever happens, the environmental disasters or whatever happens in our world, we know why exactly all those things are happening. So we don't need to create a religious belief in order to overcome that. Sickness, we know why that's happening, because of the development of science. So that causal connection is very clear, and so religion of fear does not. There is no need for the religion of fear. And secondly, Einstein says the God of providence, as far as the God of providence is concerned, Einstein says it should not be the fear of whether God is going to punish us that we should behave properly in a society. A man's ethical behavior should not be based on his fear of God, or that the fear of the God of providence. Man's actions should be based on his education, his social needs, his social ties, and sympathy, empathy, and there should not be any religious basis for it. So Einstein also says if punishment is the only reason why man would not do anything wrong, then that would be a very, very pathetic state. As the essay progresses, the last section of the essay, Einstein says this is the main reason why religious structures or religious institutions have always been against science, because science makes us understand what is exactly the need, what is the real need for religious experience, which is the correct religious experience, the cosmic religious experience. And he says there have been so many scientists who have spent their entire life trying to find out this truth. And he also speaks of Kepler, Newton, and he equates scientific research to this cosmic, to understanding this cosmic religious experience. And he says, Einstein says, this cosmic religious feeling gives man such strength. And he ends the essay by saying that it is the profoundly, I quote, a contemporary has said not unjustly that in this materialistic age of ours, the serious scientific workers are the only profoundly religious people. So with that, he ends the essay. Now, I've also added a few assessment questions, probable questions for university exams, and all these questions you will be able to find the answers in the essay that we've discussed.